New York a couple of years ago, and I saw a show at the Plaza Hotel, and a very talented man was doing some singing and dancing and playing, and I met him. Now it's been, I think, about 7 years since then, and we're good friends. He's very talented, and I'm very happy to present to you what I think is a very talented human being, Mr. Robin Fields.
Thank you. I have written what I call a philosophical oratorio, but I've been told that I should have subtitled it something else to explain it better, and I've thought of a couple of subtitle possibilities. One is Philosophical Fundamentals Can Be Fun. Another is What Happens When Classical Philosophy Meets Musical Comedy. Don't like it. Well, anyway, we'll go with what we have. And thank you very much for coming. I'd like to ask 3 questions. Ask what they mean to you. What is so? How do you know? And so, what should you do? The answers are elusive. It's quite a lot to chew. What is so? How do you know? And so, what should you do? Philosophers refer to them like this without apology. 1 is metaphysics, and 2, epistemology, and number 3 is ethics, or the science of morality. These questions hold the key to man's relation to reality. My object is to deal with them in poetry and song. 1 is truth, 1 is proof, and 1 is right and wrong. Your answers guide your thoughts and deeds, your whole life long. Everyone has a philosophy, whether he knows it or not. Some people fancy philosophy, some think it isn't so hot. Theirs they believe is to follow it, not to agree or oppose. Their only choice is to swallow it, wincing and holding their nose. Most people feel that philosophy's something they can't understand, so they absorb their philosophies out of the culture at hand, letting it dictate propriety, dictate what's false and what's true, leaving the job to society, as if society knew. Why should you study philosophy with all there is to pursue? Simply because your philosophy underlies all that you do. Why bother checking your premises? Why should you make that a goal? Premises can be your nemesis if they're not under control. What is regarded as knowledge is garbage we've got to outgrow. That which is taught in our colleges ain't necessarily so. Let me review for the curious what the philosophers thought. Don't be surprised if you're furious that this is still being taught. Philosophers are men who think in purest fundamentals, like Buddha and Confucius, who confused the Orientals. They taught by means of paradox that man is meant to suffer, that life and death are just the same except that life is tougher. While Thales taught in ancient Greece and called his school Milesian, the weeper, Heraclitus, taught that things have no cohesion. Pythagoras decided mathematics would cohere him and ran around reciting his Pythagorean theorem. And then there came Parmenides and Zeno of Elea, who said there's no such thing as change. A rather strange idea. Empedocles, Leucippus, and Democritus came next. They came to bring enlightenment. They left the world perplexed. The students of Protagoras were led across the greens with sophomoric wisdom, like ends justify the means. The irony of Socrates up in his ivory tower is that he sought the truth of life, yet drank a deadly flower. Now Plato saw another world and thought it was ideal. The physical does not exist, the mental world is real. But Aristotle tried to take those separate worlds and fuse them. He formed the laws of logic, though he didn't always use them. And hedonistic happiness was hailed by Epicurus. He meant in moderation, though, he hastened to assure us. And Stoics, led by Zeno, came, and skeptics, led by Pyrrho. They claimed we can't know anything. That added up to 0. Then Philo borrowed Plato and applied him to religion. Plotinus, too, and Augustine, who added just a smidgen. And mysticism called itself superior to reason. And anyone who disagreed was put to death for treason. Throughout the Middle Ages, there was philosophic dryness, till Aristotle's work was rediscovered by Aquinas. So Renaissance philosophers began to do their jobs, a dearth of new ideas from a plethora of snobs. Around the attributes of man, they started building fences, like senses without reasoning, and reason without senses. I think, therefore I am, began the thinking of Descartes. Spinoza spun his theories from a geometric chart. We learn by pure sensation, offered Berkeley, Locke, and Hume. That knowledge is conceptual was too much to assume. This mind and body separation Leibniz just adored, but pre-established harmony just struck a minor chord. Hegel held a view of man which Hitler found poetic. But this was only logical. His logic was synthetic. That certain men are supermen was preached by Friedrich Nietzsche. This concept reached the Nazis too, who found it ginger peachy. The name for altruism was contributed by Kant. With altruism, Engels, Marx, and Lenin left us swamped. Oh, some think it means benevolence and looking after Gramps. I ask you, how benevolent are concentration camps? America gave Pierce and James and Dewey an ovation, and pragmatism turned into progressive education. You've heard of existentialists like Kierkegaard and Sartre. Futility and loneliness are all that they impart. From Heidegger to Wittgenstein to Whitehead, Moore, and Reed, from Buddha to the present, no two thinkers have agreed. But all these men are unified in two ways, I submit. They all were great philosophers. They all were foolish. Philosophy is not as complex as they'd have us think. It's justifying errors that produces such a stink. Although some bits of wisdom have remained as life enhancers, this digging in the dogma hasn't turned up any answers. But let's not think that just because philosophers were boring, the subject of philosophy must not be worth exploring. Man needs a frame of reference and a moral code to guide him. But man just can't make head or tail of what has been supplied him. I say, let's start all over. Keep the best and dump the worst. Let's start from scratch. Let's prove each point. Let's just take first things first. The most important thing to me is me. That much is true. And so I guess the most important thing to you is you. But then again, I'm not the first thing ever to occur. My mother came before me, and her mother before her. My father had a father, and his father had a dad. So don't misunderstand me when I say we've all been had. Cause and effect, cause and effect. I'm the result of cause and effect. One of the ways that all things connect is by the law of cause and effect. Cause and effect, cause and effect. There can be no cause without an effect. Effects without causes would be incorrect. So says the law of cause and effect. The cause of a tree is a seed. The cause of a seed is a tree. I'm not just pulling your leg or trying to be absurd. The cause of a bird is an egg. The cause of an egg is a bird. Something must antecede before a thing can be. Cause and effect, cause and effect. You needn't agree, you needn't object, but things can be thought about in this respect. Respect the law. Respect the law of cause and effect. But if every effect has a cause, and each cause had a previous cause, this theory appears to have flaws on which we would do well to pause. Because if everything must have a cause, then where did it all begin? The problem involved in this law is the problem of origin. Way back before my parents, my uncles, or my aunts. Way back before psychiatry and governmental grants. Way back before McDonald's and the world of high finance. Way back before the countries of Albania and France. Way back before all man-made things like cars and Gucci pants. Way back before Burt Bacharach, Burt Convy, or Burt Lance. Way back before the animals. Way back before the plants. Way back before the world began, there was a great expanse. The universe, of what does it consist? The universe is what we call all objects that exist. The universe is outer space and galaxies of stars and little things called planets such as Venus, Earth, and Mars. The universe is everything, including you and me, and subatomic particles impossible to see. You cannot go outside it, or above it, or below. The universe is all there is. There's nowhere else to go. The universe is not a place. All places are in it. In fact, there isn't any place the universe would fit. The universe did not begin at any point in time. Existence is eternal, and the universe is prime. It sounds a bit confusing, but it isn't hard to prove, for time is just the measurement of entities that move. The universe, the first and only fact, for something must exist at all before a thing can act. The universe existed all along. Theologists will argue, but theologists are wrong. No consciousness created it or acted as its nurse. No consciousness existed prior to the universe. The universe, it cannot be reversed. Of all the things that ever were, the universe was first. The universe, the fundamental cause, the universe, it is, and always was. Thank you. Thank you. George and Grace will be back in just a moment, but first, what is so means what exists, coherence or confusion. Is what we call existence real or only an illusion? Existence is an axiom upon which all else rests, regardless of who says so and regardless who protests. Existence is self-evident, which simply means you know it. The proof is called ostensive proof, which simply means you show it. It cannot be refuted. It's irrational to try it. The man who doubts existence has to use it to deny it. Existence is objective. independent of perceiver, independent of evader, independent of believer. To be is to be something, to be real and specific. No thing can be and not be, to be strictly scientific. All nature's laws are absolute. All entities obey them. All entities are what they are. No wishing will gainsay them. An entity can only act according to its nature. There aren't any miracles in nature's nomenclature. So existence is identity. That ought to summarize it. And this implies that consciousness is what identifies it. Consciousness perceives that which exists, and nothing more. Perceiving what exists is what a consciousness is for. Awareness is an axiom. The moron who poo-poos it must face the same dilemma. To deny it, he must use it. Existence, then, and consciousness are true and absolute. Of anything we say or do, these two are at the root. I am, and I am aware. I'm aware of a world out there. I can see for myself. I can taste, smell, hear, and feel. What is real? I'm aware of a world within, of the world where my thoughts begin. I can wonder and wish and define, decide, and know. What is so? Every thought starts from there. I am, and I am aware. Zipping on through, the second fundamental question asks, how do you know? And this means, what means does man possess for knowing what is so? Is reason man's exclusive means of gaining information? Or can he know by feeling? Or by mystic revelation? As human beings, we depend on knowledge to survive. If not your own, then someone else's thoughts keep you alive. Emotions aren't knowledge, they just make you want to move. And faith is just believing what you don't know how to prove. Reason is the faculty from which all thought commences. It integrates material provided by the senses. The senses gather data and transmit it to the brain. In simplest form, sensations are of pleasure or of pain. Getting stuck now. Pleasure or of pain. Can you cue me?
Sensation.
Sensations are retained by means of mental integration. And this stage is called perception. More complex than mere sensation. We share this stage with animals. It's virtually static because this kind of integration is completely automatic. Man's level is conceptual, requiring his volition. This means that he must choose to use awareness for cognition. Nothing forces man to think. On every new occasion, he makes that choice himself each time. It's thinking or evasion. So the choice to think or not to think is man's prerogative. This doesn't change his nature, though. He needs to think to live. And all thought is done with concepts which identify a fact. To know what's so, man must be sure his concepts are exact. And since man is not infallible, and man is not omniscient, he needs to find a way to make his thinking most efficient. Logic is the method that gives thought the right restriction. It puts it to a simple test. It's called non-contradiction. A contradiction can't exist, or life would just be terror. To hold a contradiction is to know you've made an error. We cannot eat and have our cake, no matter how we pray. It's either or. And facts are facts. The law is A is A. One day, while they were passing round the bottle, said Plato to his pupil Aristotle, "This world that we perceive is a world of make-believe. What we see does not exist, it's a reflection." But Aristotle thought a lot and chortled, "What a lot of rot! This twaddle needs rebuttal and rejection. You mean that this potato is not a real potato? For all we know, it might be a tomato?" Plato. A is A, it isn't B, it cannot be, it's A. You see, the nature of reality decrees that A is A. A is A, it isn't B, I cannot make an A a B by wishing it could be a B. It doesn't work that way. Even if an A is made of B and C, or if an A and B combine to make a C, an A is still an A and not a B or C, any more than one is two, or two is three. See? A is A, it isn't B. If A were just the same as B, there'd be no need to call it B, so let it be an A. A is A, it's common sense. I shudder at the consequence if people tuned their instruments believing A was B. A is A, and B is B. A thing to be, an entity must have its own identity. To be or not to be, defining what is fact and what is fiction depends upon the law of contradiction. We contradict the meaning of identity when we say a thing can be and yet not be. See? A is A and B is B, and speaking philosophically, say they're both the same, I'll knock you flat. In is in and out is out, and thin is thin and stout is stout, and truth is truth and doubt is doubt in truth. There is no doubt about it. A is A, and may I say, it stays that way from day to day, and that that. The question, so what should you do? Is question number 3. Philosophy's development is something like a tree. The roots are metaphysics, to provide a firm foundation. The trunk, epistemology, provides substantiation. And ethics is the branches and the leaves in which it's dressed. And in this way, morality depends upon the rest. Okay, then, what about the soil? I hear your silent query. The soil is what gives rise to any philosophic theory. Life's the only thing that has to face alternatives. An organism dies unless that organism lives. Matter sometimes changes forms, but cannot cease to be. It's only life itself that comes without a guarantee. And remember, when we speak of life, we mean, by this abstraction, a process of self-generated, self-sustaining action. An organism's nature will prescribe what it should do, and living is the value which its actions must pursue. All plants act on this standard, and all animals have sensed it. The good is that which furthers life. The evil acts against it. A plant will automatically do only what it should. An animal has automatic knowledge of what's good. But man possesses free will. He can act as his destroyer. Let's face it, man can boo-boo. And he often needs a lawyer. So morality does not apply to everything that is. It rests on man's volition, since the choice to think is his. Of all the values man can hold, these 3 must reign supreme. One is reason, one is purpose, one is self-esteem. And to help us all remember it, I've set it to a theme. Remember these 3 cardinal values: reason, purpose, self-esteem. That's not in the libretto, I just throw that in. Reason is the tool with which you strive to reach your goal, and purpose is the goal itself. It plays the central role, and self-esteem comes afterward. Your self-respect, unswerving. It's your profound conviction that your life is worth preserving. And these values have to be achieved, and virtue must achieve them. The 7 virtues are what man should do. Take them or leave them. The first is rationality, to guide him on his course. Man lives by means of logic, not by whim or faith or force. Independence means that truth is yours alone to find. It's your responsibility to live by your own mind. Integrity means thought plus action, minus any breach. To act on your convictions and to practice what you preach. Honesty means only what is so is worth believing. It means no values may be gained by faking or deceiving. Justice means you neither seek nor grant unearned rewards. It means men must be traders and no longer serfs and lords. And productiveness is what you do to maintain your existence. Achievement is your purpose, if you want to go the distance. And pride is your devotion to yourself, your moral worth. You have to earn the right to be your favorite thing on earth. The most important thing to me is me. That's why it's true. That's what is so, and how we know. And that's what we should do. I know how to walk down the street. Someone once showed me how to stand on my feet, and then I took it from there. I wanted to walk everywhere. I put my left foot out in front of my right, and then I practiced and practiced day and night, and now I know that I can get where I want to go. I know how to talk. At first it was blurred. Someone once showed me how to say the first word, and then I took it from there. I wanted to show I was aware. I found the words for what I wanted to say, and then I practiced and practiced night and day. Now I can speak. In fact, they say I talk a blue streak. A school can only offer the tool. A tool is of no use to a fool. A fool can memorize every rule, but then as a rule he's through with it. What matters is what you do with it. I know how to live. I know what to be. Someone once showed me it was all up to me, and I took it from there. I wanted to be something rare. I took ingredients I liked from the shelf, and then I mixed them together and created myself. And now it's clear that I'm the one to take it from here. I'm the one to take it from here. Everyone has a philosophy. Few of them make any sense. Politics stem from philosophy. Here's where the heat is intense. Communists clearly communicate. Everyone's wealth is to share. Socialist, fascist, or welfare state, none of them plays laissez-faire. Life requires freedom and property. Men must not be parasites. Men need a government properly, only for guarding these rights. Both wings are singing their songs to me. Our lives belong to the state. Reason says my life belongs to me. So does the wealth I create. Look into other philosophies. Learn how our culture declined. Notice how other philosophies ask you to give up your mind. Specious and vicious dichotomies split mind and body apart. Do-it-yourself kit lobotomies, pitting the mind versus heart. Feelings must rule is the hack advice. No need to question their source. Reason is what we must sacrifice. Don't think, just follow the force. Some people stick to the platitudes, sorting the rights from the wrongs. Some philosophical attitudes come from our popular songs. Love thy neighbor, be wise, be smart, make someone happy, put a little love in your heart. I'm always chasing rainbow. The best things in life are free. I got the sun in the morning and the moon at night. C'est la vie, let it be. Life is just a bowl of cherry. Who cares? I don't care. What the world needs now is love, sweet love, and all in love is fair. I got plenty of nothing, and it all belongs to you. Everything I have is yours. What now, my love? What'll I do? Is that all there is? What kind of fool am I? How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? That's life. That's what people say. We're poor little sheep who have lost our way. But I'm glad to be unhappy. I got a right to sing the blues. We're lost out here in the stars. Why was I born? Born to lose. Did I ever really live? What's it all about? The answers, my friend, are blowing in the wind. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. When you're down and out, lift up your head and shout, there's gonna be a great day. So wrap your troubles in dreams and dream your troubles away. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. When everything goes wrong, you gotta accentuate the positive and start off each day with a song. I believe in music. Smile, darn you, smile. Be a clown. Everything is beautiful. But don't let it get you down. Smile, though your heart is aching, and the sun comes shining through. Put on a happy face. Everything's coming up roses for me and for you. I want to live till I die. I got a lot of living to do. And when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. No man is an island. How little we know. Then I know why I believe. How do I know? The Bible tells me so. Climb every mountain, ford every stream. Look for the silver